Hello, I'm Dan Rather, and welcome to the CBS Evening News Online edition. Just ahead, the buildup. U.S. troop strength in Iraq will soon reach its highest level ever. We'll show you how the Pentagon plans to do it and why. Also, the healing power of stem cells. Asian doctors have had some remarkable success with spinal cord injuries. We'll give you the details. And a consumer alert on those new free credit reports. Many of you are now able to get them, but will they help protect against other credit hassles? It's all starting now on the CBS Evening News Online edition. Thousands more American boots will soon be on the ground in Iraq. The Pentagon confirmed today that the U.S. troop strength in Iraq will rise sharply during the run-up to the scheduled January elections. But now, as the number of U.S. forces in Iraq grows and the casualties mount, CBS's David Martin reports questions are being raised about how well American soldiers are being trained for battle.
The buildup involves about 12,000 soldiers and Marines. Most of them are already in Iraq, but instead of coming home when their replacements arrive, they will have their tours extended, bringing the overall U.S. troop strength to about 150,000, the highest ever.
How those soldiers fight is as important as their numbers. And this Army study, completed last spring but never released to the public, found many soldiers are poorly prepared for the battle in Iraq.
Soldiers are performing functions vastly different from those on which they have trained. Engineers are being sent out as infantrymen to search Iraqi homes and round up suspected insurgents. Officers are negotiating with tribal leaders without any knowledge of the language, the culture, or even basic negotiating tactics. If the battle for Iraq is a battle for the hearts and minds of the people, the U.S. has a long way to go. A common sentiment amongst Iraqis is that the U.S. is in Iraq for its own economic interests and not for the greater welfare of the Iraqi people. Some commanders don't believe in the battle for hearts and minds and say the only way to win is to kill the insurgents. Other commanders are convinced they can't win without gaining acceptance from the Iraqi people, but don't know how to do that and just conduct operations without any measure of success or failure. Sweeps through neighborhoods may work in the short term, but are damaging in the long run. Detaining the wife and children of a suspected insurgent may convince him to turn himself in, but it contributes to a lasting negative image. Destroying the homes of suspected insurgents smacks of Israeli tactics in the West Bank and Gaza, and the association with Israel undermines the image of the U.S. These tactics, of course, pale by comparison with the atrocities committed by the insurgents. Newly discovered information in Fallujah shows some hostages were ordered to kill themselves. But in war, victory is not determined by who fights the fairest. David Martin, CBS News, the Pentagon.
Scientists are also hunting for new ways to treat people left paralyzed by spinal cord injuries. Experiments, some using stem cells, show promise. Advanced research is underway in a part of the world where many people already turn to for ancient herbal and acupuncture remedies. CBS's Barry Peterson takes you there for the inside story.
For 20 years, Huang Misun was paralyzed after an accident, but no more. With tears in her eyes, she showed how she can take a few tentative steps. For her, a miracle. For doctors, proof of how stem cells can heal. Doctors say her muscles responded within weeks after stem cells from an umbilical cord were injected directly into her spine. It's too early to know all that we can do, says her doctor. This is just one test. South Korea is not the only place offering hope for those with spinal cord injuries. At this hospital on the outskirts of Beijing, dozens of Americans are coming for a similar kind of experimental surgery that is not available in the United States. One of those at this special ward is 19-year-old Derek Langier, paralyzed from the waist down in a snowboarding accident. American doctors said his recovery had gone as far as possible. But 5 days after an operation here, parts of his legs, once dead, are coming alive again.
I can feel this now.
So if I touch it or scratch it,
yeah,
you actually can feel that?
Yeah.
And what about before the surgery?
Before the surgery, there was nothing.
Nothing. Dr. Wang Hung-yoon injects cells from an aborted fetus into the spine. Even he is not sure exactly why it works. And while some doctors in the U.S. are openly skeptical about the procedure, Derek's grateful mother, a nurse practitioner, is now a believer.
That's what we should be doing, is supporting Dr. Huang, because he's discovered something that offers hope.
These operations can be done in Asia because rules are not as strict nor as controversial as in the U.S. There are no lengthy clinical trials required before humans become guinea pigs. But doctors in South Korea think they are far ahead of the U.S. in understanding how cells can be regenerated, because their research is not just about laboratory experiments, it's also about changing lives, one patient at a time. Barry Peterson, CBS News, Beijing.
A new federal law kicked in today that will allow you to get a free copy of your credit history each year so you can check it for accuracy, see who's inquired about your record, and protect yourself from becoming a victim of the fastest growing crime in America, as CBS's Bill Whitaker reports in this Consumer Alert.
When we first met Mark Cowan almost 7 years ago, he was a victim of identity theft, fighting to get back his good name and good credit.
I've lost my identity.
Today, he says the new law allowing consumers like him free access to their credit reports would have saved him a lot of time and money.
I wish it had happened a few years ago, because I know there's been hundreds of thousands, if not millions of us yelling about this.
The program, starting today in 13 western states and rolling out across the country the next 10 months, requires the big three credit companies to give consumers their credit reports once a year at no charge. It's designed to combat the growing identity theft crisis, now striking more than 10 million consumers a year.
Periodically looking at your credit file is a very good hedge against identity fraud. First of all, it will alert you if you see an entry on there with an establishment that you don't do business with.
Consumer advocates say it's about time. A first good step, but no solution.
It will give you a heads up if something is going wrong. But just knowing that the crime is happening isn't going to stop it. We have got to clamp down on these banks who are just trading our private financial information like it's a commodity that, like pork bellies.
As for Mark Cowan, 7 years later, he's still trying to clear the mess off his credit reports.
So, sadly, a lot of the information that is fraudulent is still there, and it takes a while to get it swept off of my report.
Then there's no free lunch, and the same might be said for credit reports. Watch now for the big three credit companies to give free reports with one hand while pushing costly new identity protection services with the other. Bill Whitaker, CBS News, Los Angeles.
A few words about one of the best television journalists in the world, Tom Brokaw. For more than 30 years, I've known Tom as a friend and competitor who has earned the respect of his audience and his colleagues, including this reporter. As Tom leaves the NBC News anchor chair tonight, we at CBS News salute him and wish him well. Good night, Tom. And to my young friend Brian Williams, welcome to the neighborhood. More stories are just a click away. But be sure to join me on television for the on-air edition of the CBS Evening News. On Thursday's broadcast, could a simple sandwich shop change a whole neighborhood? We'll introduce you to a preacher who says it can, and he'll show you how. For CBSNews.com, I'm Dan Rather.